Good day, ma'am. So for today, my group mates and I will be reporting the 5 functions of management. But before proceeding to our discussion, let me ask you, ma'am, one question. What is management? Management is said to be a social process involving responsibility for economical and effective planning and regulation of operations of an enterprise in the fulfillment of given purposes. So now that we have a little idea on what management is, let us now proceed to the discussion proper, which is about the 5 functions of management. And let's start off with planning.
Everyone, my name is Jardine Copil and I am here to discuss about planning. So planning is the basic function of management. It deals with choking out the future course of action and deciding in advance the most appropriate course of actions for achievements of predetermined goals. Planning is about what steps you need to take to reach your goal, what changes and hurdles to anticipate, and how to utilize human resources and opportunity to reach the expected outcome. For example, the organization's goal is to improve company sales. So, hindi naman pwede na dediretso tayo sa goal na yon. Dapat tayong gumawa ng steps natin para makapunta tayo sa gusto natin. So, managers first needs to decide which steps are necessary to accomplish that goal. You may use the steps like increasing advertising, inventory, and sales tax.
Hi, I'm Kimberly G. Boltron. I'm going to discuss the second function of management. So after planning, which is the first function of management, organizing follows. So what do you mean by organizing? So organizing means systematically, or it is a method of arranging, grouping, synchronizing, and coordinating the activities and resources such as human, materials, and financial of the company so as to achieve the business objectives. So, ang organizing is mao ni siya ang pagpahiluna or paghanay sa isa ka organization kung unsay angay responsibilities or duties nga dapat pagabuhaton sa mga employees sa isa ka organization para og naay mo process sa business is very smooth lang ang process kay organized na ang isa ka business. So organisado na siya kanang wala na error bitaw nga mahitabo kay balo na ang customer kung asa siya modulong kung kinsa iyang duulon sa ana nga business. So, what is the purpose of organizing? The purpose of organizing is to guide, direct, arrange, coordinate, and control the activities related to its production. So there are steps in organizing. So first, defining organizational goals. So in building a business or an organization, it is very important that you have an objective or goals. Because if you don't have an objective or goals, you cannot build an organization. So it is very important that you determine the number and nature of the activities or managerial activities that should be performed or how the activities should be performed. So after you define your organizational goals, you will now identify the activities. So in identifying the activities, it is very important that all the necessary activities should be identified. So there must be no overlapping and no duplicating. So dapat dili magduble ang activities. So after you identify the activities, you will now group the activities. So that is a third step. So in grouping activities, you need to group it into logical divisions, departments, and sections as to perform in the organization. So, imo na silang i-group ug asa sila nga areas nga dapat mo perform sa ana nga organization. So, after grouping the activities, you will now assign duties. So, that is the fourth one, assigning duties. So, what is need to be done to the individuals that is working in an organization. So, dapat there is a clear segregation of what duties and responsibilities should be done by that one employee or individuals that is working in an organization. After assigning duties, you will now proceed on defining and delegation of authority. So this is the fifth and sixth one. So in these steps, you need to define the power of each individual based on their assigned duties or responsibility. So after defining and delegation of authority, you will now proceed on determining relationship. So this is the seventh one. So it is very important to determine the relationship between different individuals working in an organization and whoever is doing the organizing functions. So, importante jud kayo nga kay baw ka unsa imong level of relationship sa mga employee nga nagpalibot nimo sa ana nga organization. If you are the boss or the subordinates. So, after determining relationship, you will now proceed on allocating resources. So, this is the eighth one. So, in allocating resources, you need to give out or divide all the necessary resources or all needed resources to all levels of an organization. So, dapat ma-divide siya equally ang resources. So, after allocating resources, you will now proceed to the last step, which is coordination. So, coordination is very an important one step in organizing because for the organization to work efficiently, coordination must be done. So, if ang isa ka organization is gubot siya, walay coordination sa mga individuals or employees at nga anang organization. So, dili smooth ang organization. So, daghang palpak nga mahitabo kay walay coordination man nga gibuhat. So, that could be all for my report and sorry di ay if ingani akong tingog medyo pagaw kay medyo not feeling well pug ko karon but still na-report man sana ko kung siya ang akong iingon. So, thank you and have a good day.
So the third function of management is staffing. Staffing is the function of manning the organization and keeping it manned. Meaning, the management or one function of the management is keeping or seeing to it that a certain work or a certain part of the business has its own workers and also keeping it manned. So meaning kung sabaga kung may magre-retire man o may mafa-fire, kailangan ng management or function ng management na may mailagay o may maipalit agad sa pwesto na yun para nga 'di ba na keeping the organization manned. Staffing has assumed greater importance in the recent years due to advancement of technologies, increase in size of businesses, and also the complexity of human behavior. Worth taking note is the main function of staffing. So the main function of staffing is putting the right man on the right jobs. So that's the main function of staffing. Staffing involves these 6 things, namely manpower planning, recruitment, selection and placement, training and development, remuneration, performance appraisal, and promotions and transfer. Let's start with manpower planning. Manpower planning is also known as human resource planning, wherein human resource personnel are tasked to evaluate or to see kung ilan ang kailangan nilang mga workers, kung sino-sino ang qualified na mga workers, at kung ano-ano ang dapat nilang ibigay na trabaho sa mga workers. So yon, manpower planning. So next is recruitment. Staffing involves these 6 things, namely manpower planning, recruitment, selection and placement, training and development, remuneration, performance appraisal, and promotions and transfer. Let's start with manpower planning. Manpower planning is also known as human resource planning, wherein human resource personnel are tasked to evaluate or to see kung ilan ang kailangan nilang mga workers, kung sino-sino ang qualified na mga workers, at kung ano-ano ang dapat nilang ibigay na trabaho sa mga workers. So yun, manpower planning. Planning. So next is recruitment, selection, and placement. So right after the HR personnel or HR officer analyzes or knows what jobs are to be offered and what qualifications are needed for an employee, they are to, like, let's say, strain or divide these employees, and then from that choose the best and the right one or the right person for the certain job or for the certain workspace. So there's the recruitment, selection, and then placement. Alamin nila kung saan ba to bagay tong tao na to, yung personality ng tao na to, yung expertise ng tao na to. Kung bagay siya dito, edi dito siya. Kung bagay naman siya doon, edi doon siya ilalagay. Third is training and development. So right after employees are hired, they won't really like proceed to formal or to the professional work. First, they have to undergo training and development, just like what my sister did a few years ago, in which she entered China Bank. But before she could really like be a regular employee, she first had a training and many developmental activities there in Manila. So it is really needed that right after the employees are hired, they are to be trained and developed to be better versions of themselves. So next is remuneration. Remuneration is giving rewards or giving gifts or giving benefits to employees who, let's say, who excelled in their work, because giving employees these rewards or benefits would surely inspire them or motivate them to give their best or to keep on like grinding more or para mas magsipag sila sa kanilang mga trabaho. So yun, remuneration. Second to the last is performance appraisal. Performance appraisal is like rating the employee whether he or she is performing well or he or she is not that performing well. It is usually done by, let's say, a supervisor, in which he or she has a checklist, and then she or he observes this employee on whether she passed or he or she excels on that certain work, and if not, then maybe that employee would undergo to another training and development session, or maybe she or he will be transferred to another workspace, and then she will be replaced by another employee. And lastly, promotions and transfer. Promotions are given to employees who excels in their workforce or in their workplace. They are usually promoted because the top management think that they deserve to be promoted because of their hard work. And then transfer. Katulad nga ng sinabi ko kanina, there are times that employees might be transferred to another part of the business or to the another part of a working force, because maybe he or she is more fitted to that part rather than to his or her current workforce right now. So those are the things involved in staffing.
Good day, everyone, and good day to you, Mampongay. I am Ryan Ilosterio, and I was assigned to report about the function of management, which is directing. So, directing is defined as a process in which managers instruct, guide, and supervise the performance of employees in order to achieve predetermined goals. The management process is said to revolve around directing. Planning, organizing, and stopping are all meaningless if the direction function is not carried out. The act of directing initiates actions, and it's from this point that the actual work begins. Human factors are said to play a role in a direction. So, in layman terms, it can be defined as providing guidance to workers while they at work. In the field of management, Direction is defined as all activities designed to encourage subordinates to work effectively and efficiently. Human defines directing as a process or a technique that allows instructions to be issued and operation to be carried out as originally planned. So as a result, directing is the function of guiding, inspiring, supervising, and instructing people to achieve organizational goals. There are four elements under the directing, but at this point, I only discussed two of them. So the first element is supervision. Supervision is the process by which a superior monitors and ensures that the work of his subordinates adhere to predetermined requirements and standards. When functions such as factory oversight or etc. must be performed, supervision is performed particularly at lower levels of management. So why is there supervisor in an organization or in a certain company? Because the strict supervision and guidance of supervisor encourages the employees and workers to be more disciplined in their activities. Under the guidance of supervisor, the workers follow a fixed or strict timetable and execute the plans in the right direction. Next element is motivation. Motivation is the process of instilling in a person the desire to do something in exchange for something he or she desires. Motivation is frequently at the root of direction because people do not act unless they have a good reason to, and motivation provides them with that much needed reason. So there are a lot of ways to motivate people in a certain company or in a certain organization or the people around you. Like for example, celebrated their birthday, acknowledging their skills, and as I said, people do not act unless they have a good reason. Emotion is organized and human staff to achieve what human tries to be of directing. Directing or direction function is usually considered the central point for any organization around which objectives are achieved. Being at the center of all enterprise activities, it ensures numerous benefits to any organization, which are as follows. Number one, makes the organization goal oriented. Planning, as we all know, lays down goals, but the mere laying down of goals isn't enough. It is directing in terms of those goals that gets them achieved. It is that the process that retains the goal orientedness with which the business process begins. Second importance of directing creates a motivated workforce. Direction ensures that the workforce is motivated and remains motivated. This is so because the process will be successful only with the effort of motivated people, and motivated people is the secret of budding effective business. The next element is ensures conformity and facilitates controlling and coordination. Direction, as stated above, deals with specifying what to do. Thus, direction lays down the benchmark on what is to be expected from a person or a process. Fourth importance, initiates action. Direction is the process that kicks the plan into motion by using the resources organized and human staff to achieve what is envisioned in the plan. It is the stepping stone to carrying out the business processes, which till then remain only in paper. The fifth importance of directing, it creates adaptability. A business has to cope with constant changes in its environment. Direction plays a key role in ensuring that the business is capable for adjusting and adapting to such changes by understanding the environment and by relaying suitable information. And the last importance of directing, ensure employees discipline. Direction goes a long way in ensuring employee discipline. It involves the process of giving an instruction and the instruction being unconditionally followed.
Leadership may be defined as a process by which manager guides and influences the work of subordinates in desired direction. So ang leadership, ibig sabihin ay pamumuno. paraan ng pagtaguyod o pangunguna sa isang gawain na kung saan maimpluwensyahan ang mga kasama. Communications, it is a bridge of understanding. So ang komunikasyon, ito ay ang proseso ng pagpasa ng impormasyon, karanasan, opinyon, at iba pa mula sa isang tao patungo sa isa pa. Ito ay isang tulay ng pag-unawa. So there are 10 characteristics of directing. First is initiates action. It is taking prompt action to accomplish. Second, pervasive function. Existing and spreading through every part of something a pervasive odor. Third, continuous activity. It is continuous operation or activities within a business or organization. Fourth, descending order of hierarchy. So arrange the rows according to their numeric value. Fifth, human factor. So refer to environmental, organizational, and job factors, and human individual characteristics. Sixth, engrades efforts. So it is described someone who tends to act this way in general, rarely acknowledging others' generosity. So seventh is motivate employees. So it's all about how engaged an employee feels in tandem to the organization's goals and how empowered he or she feels. So eight, provide stability. So the quality, state, or degree of being stable. So ninth, coping up with the changes. To escape coping is based on avoidance. 10, effective utilization of resources. So it is effectiveness refers to achieving target and setting goal in right direction.
Good day, everyone. My name is Sarami Pungase, and I will be discussing about the last function of management, which is the controlling. A manager performs various tasks like planning, organizing, staffing, and directing to attain organizational goals. Besides this, manager needs to check if his subordinates are performing their tasks as per the required standards or not. Kung sa palagay niya ang performance ay mababa sa kanyang standards, then he needs to take action for that. Or he needs to take corrective actions for that particular problem. The process of monitoring organizational performance towards the attainment of organizational goals is controlling. Controlling is one of the 5 functions of management. The task of controlling involves establishing standards of performance at the time of planning, measuring current performance, and taking corrective action where any deviation is found. Controlling is a goal-oriented function as it ensures that the resources of an organization is being used effectively and efficiently for the achievement of predetermined goals. Controlling sees to it that the right things happen in the right ways and at the right time. So a good controlling system comes to the rescue of a manager and helps an organization in different ways. Here are the importance of controlling. So first, it helps in accomplishing organizational goals. Through controlling function, a manager can keep his team on the right track to achieve organizational goals. The second, enables management judging accuracy of standards. An efficient controlling system helps a manager to verify the accuracy of the standards set. We can also review or revise the standards as per the changes taking place in and out of an organization through an efficient controlling system. So third importance is facilities efficient use of resources. So, through efficient controlling system, a manager can ensure that the resources are used in the most effective and efficient manner. So fourth is it helps improving employee motivation. A good controlling system motivates employees and helps them to perform better. The controlling function tells employees about the work they expected to do, as well as the standard of performance on the basis of which they will be appraised. So fifth, it creates atmosphere of order and discipline. An efficient controlling system helps to minimize the dishonest behavior on the part of the employees by keeping a close check on their day-to-day activities. So lastly, facilitates coordination in action. The controlling function also facilitates coordination in an organization. Each department and employees in an organization is governed by predetermined standards that are well coordinated with one another to attain organizational goals. Controlling is a very important managerial function. It is concerned with taking measures or preventive actions to ensure achievement of organizational goals. The management process is incomplete and sometimes useless without the control function. So controlling is indeed very important in the management, in a business management. That's all. Thank you for listening.